Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. With this update, I think it's about time we update the tier list quite a bit. Now, I did kind of jumble everybody back onto the tier list from before, from last video, so don't take this original tier list seriously. If you want to see what the original tier list kind of looked like, I would suggest looking at the end of the last video in order to kind of like see. But right now, I think it's about time we maneuver some characters, we put some characters where they belong, we downgrade some characters, and then we kind of move on from there. Now, with this update, we did get a lot of characters and a lot of good ones at that. And I'm talking about ridiculously good. Then we kind of figured out there were some pretty bad characters in the roster, or some characters that ended up getting a little too overhyped. So we're going to deal with that too, because I think a lot of these characters are overstaying their welcome in certain categories. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get down to it. So first things first. All right, let's talk about just pretty much where we are in positioning right now, and then we're going to get into where the new characters belong. So right here, probably top of D would probably be Zoro. Ichigo probably a close second. Everybody else here, all right. Like everyone else here, low key useless. But some people even suggested because of Zoro's specific attack, maybe he does deserve as an AoE circle combatant to actually be over here in C, which is very, very cool. I understand that. Like, I do agree with that. Not going to lie. Duh. Let's go ahead and get into the C area then. Now, a lot of people, right? A lot of people play Nexus. And no lie, Nexus can get really competitive, especially in the third stage. So I got like a new kind of respect for some of these units that I've kind of put in the spot objectively before. And one of them is this girl. I mean, the damage stacking is nice, but yet again, I have to argue the damage stacking is nice, but that's if you're on a team. If you're going solo, you want nothing but damage. And you want to fill all your slots with actual damage dealers. There's way too many now compared to before, where now she's kind of useless now. So she's actually probably like more useless than before, but I cannot downgrade her or upgrade her for that reason. I think she's all right. Now, one character that did get a lot of love this update, finally, after they finally fixed our boy, Kame, bro, got fixed. He is now a legitimate threat on the field. Now, he doesn't do the damage, but he does do the stoppage. You put this dude against a boss, he does the AoE. Now his actual stun move, which is the water prison, now does an actual AoE. So that is incredibly solid. That is much, much, much of a level up compared to before when he was just a single target bruiser and single target stunner. Now he's actually the first AoE stunner, which is just makes him better than Pain already. And a lot of people are like, well, we'll get to him in a second. All right. So, one, we do have a few good characters in this roster right here. Of course, Gaara's got to be at the front, probably at the front of the entire C roster. He's not bad. Zoro probably in a close second. Everybody else kind of belongs where they belong, except for like right there. I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, yeah, because this is probably the best we could really do with C, because these characters don't exactly stand out, but they're not exactly in a bad position right now compared to not being as meta as some characters. Now let's get to B. Now in B, we have a lot of characters here that are just really, really good. A lot of characters that got, buffed. A lot of characters that got moved, and we're gonna move around in here a little bit. So one, I still think Gray is an amazing character. Kisame definitely deserves to be at the top of B. Eren, I do have a new respect for, because for a character that does require a little bit of work and a little bit of grinding to actually get him to be more useful, in a game mode like Nexus could be probably the most critical support unit in your entire team. More critical than getting more damage. This guy is one of the only damage dealers who could fill every single lane with Titans. So, I do have a brand new found respect for him. I do think that Eren definitely deserves to be an A. If he had a little more damage off the start and he costed a little bit less, maybe he would be S. But there are way too many like heavy hitter contenders that just do way too much damage, have lower SPAs, and cost half the price as Eren. So, that's just kind of where we're at right now. Now, I saw a lot of people complaining about Pain. I don't think Pain is that good. Still, even with even with max SPA, even with 30% plus on SPA, 30% plus on damage, 30% plus on range, his passive and everything like that, I have no clue if it is like the most broken thing in the world because we have powers in the game. If powers didn't exist, Pain would make sense. But he is way too expensive. He does not give off as much, like he is not as good as to replace a lot of these dudes at the top. So it's not good enough, man. It's really just not good enough to say, "Oh, Pain, you deserve to be at the top now that you've finally you got good damage and all that stuff." No, he doesn't. He's not up there. And he's just like probably at the bottom of B tier if I'm totally honest. Let's see. We have Tamari. Tamari's an amazing starter unit. She's definitely up there. I think that right here B is just in a really good spot. I don't think that B is any further than it can be. I think that B is kind of just in a solid spot right now. So we're going to move on to A. A. Now, A, we have, of course, Yamamoto, Kakashi, Frieza. We have Levi. Now, a lot of people are dissing Levi. Now, the difference between a lot of these characters and Levi is his SPA is off the charts. You could get this dude to ridiculous speed attacking. But the thing is, I do agree. He is one of those just single target characters that kind of goes a little too hard. But I wouldn't say that he's definitely bad. I would say he's behind Frieza. And I would say Eren is closer to these two, probably behind Frieza as well. Yamamoto just got even more. He just got he's on fraud watch right now. Yamamoto is on fraud watch after the characters they released. I will tell you that. Kakashi, he's good. He's solid. He's right there. He's cheap, usable, incredibly fast. He's pretty much the exact same character as Levi. The only difference is he's a ninja. So, I mean, I don't think Kakashi is better than Yamamoto, but, after the update, I don't know. He might be because he is incredibly fast. With the appropriate amount of buffs on both these characters, they could probably be probably some of the best characters in the game. But of course, we did just get the new update, so we are going to be transferring some characters depending on there. And one of the biggest transfers is definitely going to be the Immortal Ninja. We got to start culling the fat. We got to start taking off a couple of the pieces right now because there are some characters up here that have not really aged well, and they're not doing as good as some of the newer characters right now, and it's not looking too good for them. And two of those characters are definitely Baz, who definitely needs a rework, or at least a fat buff to his damage, and Yuha. Now, the reason why is because whenever it comes down to under pressure, these characters are just underdeveloped versions of what the brand new characters already are. And they just don't do the work, man. They really just don't do the work. They possibly could. It's just that you have to think about unit cost. You have to think about SPA. They're not as fast as a lot of these like higher tier units. And speed is key, especially whenever you're dealing with a lot of the late game fighters, especially with the new Cursed Academy. It's all of it's speed. It's all speed. And with speed being the brand new thing, the brand new gimmick, you have to be fast. You have to be so fast or like hit everything at once. And that's just something these two just cannot do right now, at least with their damage and the way that they scale whenever they upgrade. They're good, but they're not that good. Now, not compared to some of the newest characters they did drop. They love Uryu. Whoever, because he just got a buff too. He literally just got a buff as I was recording this video. So it's like freaking Uryu is just one of the characters that got buffed. Very big buffs at that because it's just more damage. More damage is exactly what Uryu needs in his kit. And it just makes him even better. Keeps him competing with all the newest characters. Now, if they would do that kind of thing to like Baz and Yuha, then probably they would be up there. Another character that has to go down, Goku Black. Goku Black is just so good. The only downside is he doesn't have incredible end game potential. He's got good potential, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of characters on this list who have far better end game potential than Goku Black right now. And he just kind of got outplayed by another Dragon Ball character. Not going to say his name, but we're going to get there. All right, Kuro sitting on just an amazing pedestal right now for a character that like can literally reach up to the thousands. Very fast SPA. He's just so good right now. Honestly, he's in a really good spot, especially for an immortal character. He probably is the best immortal in the game. until they add a new one. But yeah, so we also have Obito. I think Obito is in a good spot. Honestly, Obito does have the range buff, but we're not looking for range 9 times out of 10. We're kind of looking for SPA. But I do have to say, a lot of people made some good points. Obito's got some freaking good abilities with that circle AoE. Now, it's not a big circle AoE, hence why I have to say no for him being better than Minato. It's just not possible. I've never struggled compared to the way that people have to struggle with starting off with Obito compared to what I've started off with Minato. We've all played the same levels. From what I've seen, they all struggle with with Obito, and it's more hard for them to start up with Obito because of his scaling. And with Minato, he's so cheap, so fast with the 2 second SPA, it's almost like he's unstoppable. So for a starting unit, Minato is still up there, man. I think he's still up there. He's got more. He's got more. Like even if it's with the line AOE, his line AOE is still really, really solid. He's so fast it doesn't even matter. Trunks, obviously the best farm unit in the game right now. Next to what at the time of this tier list, yes. But we're about to talk about the next one. Okay, so now I think it's time that we actually dip into the brand new characters. Um, let's go ahead and dip straight into this. With the new characters that we did get, we got 6 in a one update, not including what we're probably going to get with the next update, which I don't think we're going to get characters in the next update because I think this is as far as we're going to go with character-wise. Before probably another 2 weeks, maybe 3. I don't know. Uh, Next, let's go ahead and get started. I think we should get started with Gon. Gon is probably the first one to get started with because he is the rare of the group, which is kind of cool. He's just one of those more upscaled rares, so I think he's like kind of up here next to Zoro. Very solid unit. I wouldn't say probably even better than Zoro because of cost and stuff like that, but cost, range, SPA, he's really good. So for a new player, yeah, pick up Gon. Uh, Gojo. Now Gojo has a very soft place in everyone's heart. But with that circle AoE, this dude can literally reach the top right now. He's almost up there. I think he's personally almost up there, even above Minato in some way, because of what a full AoE. You guys need to understand that that is probably the greatest thing, especially with flying units coming out soon. This is going to be the most important unit in your entire catalog, next to any unit that is on the hill. So the meta is going to change. It just depends on what's going to happen next, when they're going to add the new hill units and stuff like that, who's going to get full AoE, who's not going to get full AoE on their final attack, and then kind of move on from there. Like for instance, Kuro could be worse than Goku Black in the next meta. We'll just have to see how they implement air units. How powerful are they? Are they going to actually matter? Are they going to be the first characters to pop out? And air units can make and break a game because of the fact that air units have to be used strategically by the game developers, not just straight up based off of, oh, we're just going to throw them in. Oh, my bad. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dip into the next one, which I think is going to be Guts. Now, Guts, very popular character. Very popular character. Nice attack, nice SPA, nice damage. He's definitely going to be up there whenever it comes down to just one of those characters that is like really good next to Frieza and the Immortal Ninja. Just very solid unit. I think that with his damage scaling and everything, he is definitely a contender for A tier, but it's just because of how cheap he is. Um, Now let's go ahead and dip into the next one, and that will be Nami. I think we should get with Nami. Nami is just one of those brand new farm units that drops. Very useful farm unit at that. So, she's just kind of up here with Trunks. I think that's kind of a given because farm units are the most important characters in the game, but they're both kind of on the same tier right now. I don't think one's better than the other one because Nami just costs a little bit more, but Trunks is easier to get started, and there's not really a mode that requires us to have both units at the same time. But if there ever was a case, then obviously we would use these two because they would be literally on par with each other. You'd start off with a Trunks, then you drop a Nami, then you'd have like the most money in the entire game. But of course, we don't even have enough placements for that. So, that's the deal. Now, Burris. Oh, man, if they didn't buff Uryu, Burris would definitely be number one, man. If they did not buff Uryu, Burris would definitely be up there right now. There is no way. There is no way Burris does not get this love. I even think, even at that, I think Burris is at the top. I honestly do. From cost effectiveness to 3 placement units to the fattest AoE in the game, I still think he's at the top. I think he is. And you can fight me over that. Fight me in the comments over that. Like, your Uryu stats did just get buffed, but I do not care. I still think that Burris is the biggest contender for top of the game. Now, for the biggest contender for the top of the game, obviously it's going to be Gilgamesh. Dude is literally popping off 3 times the amount of damage as most characters in this entire game, including the characters that are already on S tier. And if you have Gilgamesh, you know how broken Gilgamesh can get. So for a character like Gilgamesh, especially after the new buffs that they're going to be adding pretty soon, that they did talk about before this, I don't know if I could really talk about that on camera, but, he's really, really good right now, like ridiculously good. And with the cone, not too bad. With the cone, not too bad. But I think he does so much damage right now that if supported by a solid team, like maybe some slowdowns or give him time stop, then he's going to be doing all the work. And this dude is just going to be unstoppable, doing the most damage in the entire game. Now, if you guys disagree with this tier list, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys do agree, hit that thumbs up button. I think this is the closest we could really get to what endgame is supposed to look like for a lot of these characters. I don't think that a lot of these guys really deserve to be at the top because a lot of them are just a little too bad right now. Like Ichigo, I wish Ichigo was better for the rank that he is, but he's still terrible. We have the damage buff unit, cool, but not a good standalone unit. So it's like there's a lot of characters here that are contenders, but they're not really up there compared to what S tier looks like right now. The new meta has shown up, and the new meta is amazing. So if you guys have not yet subscribed, I suggest you do, because I always update my lists. I always update the content. I let you guys know when something new pops off. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.